everyone, and welcome. This is Jenny Baker with Insight Coaching with Jenny, and welcome to our Wednesday training here on our live Turn Your Passions into Profits group. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It is my pleasure to serve you today. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 stages that your clients go through when they're looking to make a decision and how to get them closer to buying your product. So let's dive in. We got a lot of information, so grab your pen and paper or notepad, however you want to take notes today. So we're going to be talking about 3 separate categories, 3 different stages that your clients go through when they're looking to make a purchase decision. So this purchase can be a service or a product, doesn't matter. It could be also called kind of their enrollment into working with you. And I really want you to grasp this concept because I think that the days of people seeing something and just instantly buying them are dwindling. Yes, it does happen, but overall in the market, we're seeing that dwindle. So I think that a strategy for long-term success for any type of brand or business is one that really takes what I'm going to tell you today into account. So in marketing, it's called brand momentum because we need to build the momentum. So we have a starting point and we want to reach you up to a growth stage to where you have an influx, or where you have those clients coming in consistently into your business, because that's what it's about, right? Serving as many people as we can with our product, service, coaching, whatever we want to do. So every business creates its own momentum, and that is finding their customers that want to work with them. So they create their own momentum in their own marketplace, and there's several ways to do this. So I'm going to give you general ideas. I'm going to give you some examples today that may or may not fit your industry. So I work with a lot of brick and mortars as well as online and e-commerce businesses. So some of these things may pertain to you as a brick and mortar and some may not. Some things may pertain to you as an e-commerce business or an online passive income business, and some may not. So just take the notes on what's going to work for you. So today I want to break down this idea of the different stages that people are in when they're looking to make a purchase. So here's what happens. So nowadays, if people see you, let's say on TV, in a Facebook ad, in a flyer, or something catches their interest, okay? Something about you, your product, your service catches their interest. They're going to look you up on their phone immediately, in that moment usually, just because we all have our phones on us. And so then what's going to happen is they're going to, if they're interested, they're going to look you up again on whatever media exposure is on their phone. So let's say it's Instagram, Facebook, Google. They could look on Yelp, Google reviews. So what they're looking for is specifically what you do, your reviews, and what you and your service and product are about, what you stand for, okay? So now the same concept actually applies to word of mouth referrals as well. So they're looking up almost instantaneously. If someone gives you a referral, you're going to Google it, you're going to put it in your notepad to look up later. So if someone tells you something about them, they're definitely going to check you out if there's an interest there, if there's a need there. So if you don't have a system in place that captures that momentum when they come to visit you, it's not a recipe for success, right? So there's going to be a place where they're going to start to, this is going to be a place where you're going to experience highs and lows in your business. So if you do not have this system in place and they're just stopping by, saying hi, checking out your, whatever platform it is, could be your website, could be your product or service page, like could be your lead page. If they're just stopping by and you're not telling them where to go next, or you're not giving them what they need to make the next step in their decision-making process, this is where you're going to experience those highs and lows of business. And then you're going to wonder, like, what's working, what isn't? And then you're going to think, is anything working? And how are people finding me? That's kind of like throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping that it sticks, right? It usually doesn't. It runs down and it runs away. So what we need to do instead of that, in this media tech social world, this day and age, is we need to create a system that captures that momentum and that moment of interest and turns it into a relationship between you and the person who wants to potentially buy or work with you or purchase your product or service. So when I'm working with clients or I'm taking them to the next level and growing their company and putting a system in place that captures their audience's attention, I look at where those referrals are coming from. So then we can give that audience exactly what they need to feel comfortable and confident in their buying decision. Okay. You want to have your customers confident and comfortable in the decision making process, because then they're more apt to buy from you, right? So people want to know that they made the best decision to work with you. Okay, they want that peace of mind. So you're going to give them all of that information to help them make that decision. So now there's three groups of people that are in various stages of the buying process, buying or purchasing process. So let's call them audiences for today's training. So since they are the audiences of your business. So we're going to start with the first one. The first one is your cold audience, okay? Meaning that they're really not sure if they need help yet. But in some cases, they're like thinking, yeah, I need something. I'm not sure. They're kind of going through some type of problem. And usually in this space, when they hear it or they see it, so they hear the problem or they hear the solution or they see it, then they're proactive about looking for more information. Okay. They're looking to see what's out there. They're looking to educate themselves. They're not quite sure of what they need, though, in most cases. They have questions. Sometimes they're not even sure what those questions are. So it's really important in this phase to give them educational materials so they can educate themselves to make sure that they understand how you can solve their problem. So it doesn't really matter what your business is. It doesn't matter if it's a service or product-based business, or let's say you're coaching them in a specific area. They just need to be educated about why this type of solution would benefit them best, why you're the best, why what you're going to give them is going to solve their problem. So there's a number of ways to do this, but usually you're offering them some type of actual valuable information in exchange for their information. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to do this. You could have free exercises, guidebooks in PDF format. You could have a Facebook group where you share valuable tips and resources. You could have a training webinar or video series, a challenge, whatever feels good to you and for you and appeals to your ideal audience. That's what we want to use to market in this cold step, in this cold audience phase. So the key part is you really want to offer them something that's real value in exchange for starting a conversation with them. Okay. I hope you heard that, starting a conversation with them. So I want to be clear, you're not spamming them and you're not telling them to buy your stuff consistently. Literally, you are educating them and you are starting a conversation with them to see if they want to move to the next step. Okay, so then we go into step 2, which is we're going to call your warm audience. So they're obviously a step further in the process than the cold audiences. So most of these people, they know that they need a service or a product. And they're now in this space where they have to decide who or what's going to be best for me. Okay. And they're really on the lookout for selecting a service or product. Okay. And that's going to best fit what their need is and take care of that pain point. So they want to know what they're going to want to know what to look for, and they can expect that when they purchase from you, whether it's a service or product, that they're going to get exactly what you tell them. So what they need is more specific information about how you offer and deliver your services, whether, if you're a coach, if you are a crafter, if you're teaching them how to do something, what is the specific information that they're going to need on how you're going to specifically solve their problem? What's the process that they're going to go through? Or if you're running a product, what solution is that product going to solve? So that's what we look at in that. So this clientele, this warm market, usually generally knows what they want. They just don't know who to pick. So they also know more specific terminology focused around like a product or a service. So when we talked about doing your market research and using those terms and the key phrases that your ideal client uses, so these are the words and phrases that you're going to want to use. So more specific terms to your industry, niche, product, or service. So when you're marketing and developing your marketing campaigns, to really go after this type of client and customer that you want, these are the things that I take into account. The language and the terms that you use to attract your ideal client. So we really hone in on that language piece and the terms, and how your ideal client uses the language with their pain points and the solution of their pain points. So the final audience is called our target audience. So we have the cold audience, the warm audience, and the targeted audience. Okay, so then the target audience is someone who knows that they need a service. Okay, they know that they're ready to make a decision, and they want the best decision for them. And you're going to come alongside of them and help them to make the best decision. And so usually when we're marketing to this type of people, they're very hot leads. They're very educated on the service or the product. So they know that they're going to make a decision. It's just a matter of who, if you're a service-based business or a coach, or what, according to the product. So they know what they want or who they want. I mean, they just don't know who they want or what product they want to buy, but they know that they're going to make a decision to buy. So they are ready. So this is a really good time to start showcasing the wonderful things that you've done, right? So it could be a client, products, service testimonials, or it could be reviews online. This is the way that you can showcase yourself and say, look at me, I'm an expert in the industry, I've got the best product, or I provide the best services, or I have higher standards. And so this is what you're going to get when you work with me or my company or my team. So they're all important because you know where your buyer is going to be researching you at. So you need to figure out, if they're going to be running to your reviews online, if that's where your clientele goes, definitely get those reviews up. Google, I love the Google reviews. My web strategist actually helps me and my clients with those as well. So if you need help with that, I got a tool for you. Got a nice resource. So this is also called the celebrity showcase part, okay? Because this really is about where you're talking about why you're the best and how you help people specifically with those problems, whether it's your product or your service. So this is where you want them to take the next step, which is to reach out to you, to buy from you, or to talk to you directly, okay, to get that conversation going and the momentum going to have them purchase. Let's say it's your coaching package, let's say it's your product or your service. So in some cases, this might be a consultation, things like that. In some cases, it might be a phone call. Some cases it might be a purchase depending upon what kind of industry you're in. So this is someone who is really, really ready, and your marketing campaign can speak to them specifically, okay? So all along these three audiences, our goal along the whole thing is engagement, okay? Meaning we want people to engage with us and we're going to engage with them. We want to start a relationship with them so we can walk them through the different audience phases, okay? Because also, if someone starts as cold and they're not quite sure what they need, you can hold their hand and walk them through the process. And this develops trust. And it also showcases you as an expert, okay? So if you do a good job of educating them and communicating with them, walking alongside of them, holding their hand, they're going to become a customer. And what's going to happen is this is a customer who will repeatedly buy from you because they will love you. And it's a nice synergistic approach to creating and cultivating a community that I know a lot of brands want. They're going to leverage and go after and build relationships. Okay, that is the key here. You want people to relate and to connect with you, and you want to connect with your audience so you can help and serve them in the best way possible. So basically, the bottom line is to build relationships with your customers or your buyers and use your gifts and talents and add value to their lives. So Bob Proctor, I don't know if any of you guys know him. I've worked with him in the past, but anyway, Bob Proctor said the secret to success is helping as many people get what they want, and you will be successful. And I love that because it is. It's about how we can serve our clients, our buyers, in the best way possible. And then we're going to become successful using our gifts and talents, right? That it doesn't seem like work each day. So, to let you know too, with these three audiences, even though the way I described it, it took a long time, it took a bit of time to go through the decision-making process in each stage of that they're in. Honestly, this can happen, these three stages can happen really, really quickly, like boom. So, they could come to your page on your website and they could know immediately if it's for them or not. So they could go from cold market, warm market, and then to target right then. And so it's really important that you are marketing to appeal to all of the stages. Okay, so your website should include all things needed for each audience, or whatever you're using, a flyer or whatever type of marketing you're using. We need to look at what's needed in every stage, because if we've got a cold client coming in, we want to give them what they need, and then they're going to go to the warm market, and then they're going to go to the target market, and then they're going to make a decision. Okay, we want to walk through that process with them. So let's put this into practical terms. So honestly, the first step I would do if you were my client is to walk you through the three stages that your ideal client goes through. And then we would look at what specific things are needed in each area so that we can take their hand and we can walk through that process with them. So that way we know that we're helping them to make the best decision for their life or their business. And they feel confident making the best decision for their life and their business, okay? Because that's what it's about as well. We want them to feel comfortable in the decisions that they're making. So then what I would do is I would have you map out where you're going, and have map out when those items are going to get done and who's going to do them. Are you going to send them off to a virtual assistant? Are you going to have an assistant do them? Are you going to have a web designer do them? Who's going to help you? Creative content writers, social media specialists, who's going to do those projects, okay? Because this creates momentum in your business and it keeps you moving forward towards attaining the success that you want in your business, right? And it's about keeping you moving forward, keeping that momentum going, baby steps each and every day to get you to the closest you can to that word success in your business. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions. I know I threw a lot of information at you guys today, so any questions, feel free to ask. So, and if there's an area that you would like some expert help in, go ahead and book a power hour and let's keep you moving forward in your business. All right. So have a great week. And ladies, I can't wait to see you next Wednesday for our next training. Have a great day.